Hey everybody, this is Daryl, and some of you may know me by my alter ego, DJ D-Skillz. And many of you know I've been living here in beautiful Berlin, Germany since January of 2020. And a lot of you have been asking me what's been going on with me here in Germany since I moved here. So I decided to make this little video to give you a little glimpse inside my life here in Berlin. So here we go. I moved to Berlin back in January to a neighborhood on the west side of the city called Charlottenburg. And some of you probably saw the video I posted of the Airbnb that I had rented for the month of January. But I actually ended up not staying there for the whole month because my car, which I had shipped to Germany from the US, was sitting on the other side of the country in the port at Bremerhaven at a cost of 10 euros per day until I could import it, which required me to have a registered address here in Germany, so I had to find an apartment pretty quickly. Now, finding an apartment here in Berlin is a bit of a challenge because there's a housing shortage in the city and things don't really work the way they do back home in the States. Thankfully, I was able to find an agency called Urban Ground, which helped me get into an apartment fast. The place was a little more expensive than I was hoping for, and it wasn't exactly in my target neighborhood, but it actually worked out pretty well considering that it was my first official apartment in a new country. So I packed up my bags and headed southeast to the borough of Köpenick. Once I settled in there, it was time to head to one of the city's many Bürgeramts or citizens' offices, where I registered my address and became an official Berlin resident on the 24th of January. Once that was done, I was able to hop on the train and head over to Bremerhaven to pick up my car. As you can see, it's an Audi, so it was made here in Germany, and I'm sure it's happy to be back home. So I took my time getting back to Berlin from Bremerhaven. I stopped here in Cologne, or Köln as they call it here, and I went to nearby Bonn to say happy birthday to my high school classmate Monisha, spent the night in Frankfurt, and finally hopped on the Autobahn and made my way back to Berlin and Köpenick, which, as you can see here, has a lot of green space and a lot of water. There's also this very nice palace, or Schloss as they say in German, and this one actually sits right on the river, so it's very scenic. Like many of Berlin's boroughs, Köpenick was once its own separate municipality, complete with its own town hall or Rathaus, which sits right in the middle of the old town part of the district. It has a ton of charm and just a sprinkle of coolness. There's also a newer part of the district centered around the S-Bahn station, which has the shopping center containing just about all the stores you'll find in every Berlin neighborhood. There are also other amenities like this Deutsche Bank branch, and you'll notice every major street has tram lines, bus lanes, and bike lanes. So here is the front of my apartment building, although I usually use the back entrance because that's where the mailboxes are, and I do like to check my mail every day. Here is my hallway, and here is my apartment. So let's take a tour. All right, folks, so here is my apartment where I've been living here in Berlin for the past 6 months since January down in Köpenick. So quick tour. Here is the kitchen. I do have different brands of stuff like cereal over here that we don't have back home in the US. I did find this Maryland nut snack mix that, of course, I had to pick up when I saw it in the grocery store because it reminds me of home. So yeah, my bike is here, which has been very handy. Of course, I have my DJ equipment and my music production equipment, my rolling keyboard, my machine, my Technics turntables, my Pioneer mixer, my QSC speakers. So this is the little lab right here. Most of this stuff came with the apartment, the TV and the furniture. It came furnished. But I did pick up a couple of pieces. So this chair I bought at IKEA, as well as many of you probably recognize the record shelves here that I sit my keyboard and stuff on top of. And well, I don't know why I don't have any records in them. Left most of my records home, but I did bring a couple of crates with me. So one crate of 12 inches and one case of 45s right there. So here is the bed and the couch, which again came with the apartment along with all this other stuff. And here is a view of outside. This is my street, Lindenstrasse. My little cross street over there is where I usually park my car, but here's a look at the street and the tram line in the middle. school down there on the corner. And, the bathroom, I forgot about that. Nationals hat, yeah, world champions. You know how we do. This is the bathroom, shower, toilet, pretty standard really. Washing machine, which is cool to have. No dryer though, so I've learned that dryers aren't really a big thing over here, and they give you these heated racks to dry your clothes on. So that's been a bit of an adjustment, but this has been where I've been camping out for 6 months. All right, so after I settled into my apartment, it was time to apply for my visa. And I had an appointment, but it wasn't until March, and I didn't want to wait that long, so I stood in line at the Ausländerbehörde, or foreigner's office, and after 2 tries, I finally got it. Thanks in large part to my good friend, DJ Lido Bolton, who's been helping me out here in Berlin ever since I was visiting here as a tourist. So I have to take a moment to say thank you to him and all of my other friends here in Germany who have been helping me along since I got here and have made a very difficult transition much easier. Thanks, y'all. So once I had my visa, I was able to get to work, and I did a couple of events with my homegirl DJ Nomi. I also did some traveling. I went to Barcelona and to Prague, where I checked out a record store and ran into this guy from back home, DJ Corey T. What up, Corey? I also hopped over to Hamburg, which was very nice, and then this happened. Yeah, so the coronavirus pandemic hit and everything shut down. There was nowhere to DJ, so I focused on doing what I came here to do, which was to make music. I recorded an album back in April called Control-Alt-Delete, and you can find it on my Bandcamp page as well as most major digital music platforms like iTunes and Apple Music. It's on Spotify, it's on Google Play, just about anywhere you get your music these days. So aside from working on music and the occasional online live stream DJ set, I still have my radio show, Legacy Radio, which is on every Friday and Tuesday evening on itsfreshradio.com. But my pandemic days are mostly filled with playing Nintendo or watching Netflix and the occasional trip to the grocery store. There's a number of chains here, but I'm partial to Kaufland because it's so huge and you can get just about everything you need here in one trip. If you're a drinker, you'll love this large beverage section with lots and lots of beer. In fact, the beer here is cheaper than soda. You'll see these Heineken singles are just 81 cents compared to the Coca-Cola over here, which is 96 cents. So of course masks are required and social distancing is in place, as is the case just about everywhere in the world right now. So I don't do a whole lot of cooking at home, just the occasional hamburger or whatever. But shout to my man Kurt for the apple pitcher, man. I had to bring it with me. Wouldn't be home without it. But thankfully the restaurants are open again here in Berlin, so I am able to go out and eat every once in a while. And my fellow Andover alums from the late 80s and early 90s might recognize my dinner guest this evening. All right, I am here at my favorite Chinese restaurant in Berlin called Jolly, and I am with my man Todd Fletcher, Andover class of 87, who is having the crispy duck, is that?
Yes.
So Todd, how long have you been living here in Berlin, man?
I've been living here in Berlin for a long time. I don't even remember how long, but late 90s. That's when I came over here.
And, we've talked about this, but just for everyone who's out there watching and listening, you are a musician and you're teaching music and you run a nonprofit here?
That is absolutely correct. Writing music, composing music, working with kids, primarily refugees, trying to use everything I can to help them have a better life here and realize their potential.
Word. Thank you, Todd, for all the great work you're doing and for showing me around here in Berlin. So my lease in Köpenick was only 6 months, so after one last Köpenick sunset, it was time to head to my new place in Wilmersdorf, which is actually right next to Charlottenburg, where I started off in January. In fact, back in 2001, when Berlin reorganized its boroughs, Charlottenburg and Wilmersdorf were combined into a single larger borough. For historical context, Wilmersdorf is located inside what was once the old British sector of Cold War-era West Berlin, just north of the old American sector. My new place sits on Oliveerplatz and is just a block from Kurfürstendamm, Berlin's high-end shopping district. But don't get it twisted, I'm pretty sure I'm not paying anything near in rent what these high-end retailers are paying. In fact, considering its location, I think my place is pretty affordable. So here's a look at the outside of my new building, and let's take a quick look inside at my new apartment. Alright, so this is what I like to call the lab or the DJ setup. Probably recognize it. Same stuff as in the old apartment, except configured in the opposite way to make better use of the space here. So there's my little production workstation, and there is the bed. Very small, very minimalist. It's just a studio. You probably recognize the Eternal Weekend t-shirt. Here is the kitchen. So again, pretty cozy. Just the microwave and a little 2-eye stove top. Dishwasher down there. Sink, of course. And little refrigerator, mini fridge. Not much going on in there. Here is the bathroom. Shower, tub. It's a little bit of a step getting out of there, so you gotta be careful. Hold on to the bar. There is the sink and the toilet. Everything I need is right here. So yeah, that's the new crib. So here I am getting settled into my new neighborhood in Wilmersdorf, which is home to St. Ludwig's Church. It's also home to the Berlin Mosque, which I understand is the oldest mosque in all of Germany. And as I mentioned, Charlottenburg is right next door. In fact, Charlottenburg was also once its own city. So here is the old Charlottenburg City Hall or Rathaus. And of course, there is the world famous Charlottenburg Palace or Schloss Charlottenburg, which is quite large and quite impressive. It sits right on this bend in the Spree River. I know you can't see it because it's behind those trees over there, but trust me, it's there. And it's one of the many very impressive and cool things about my new neighborhood, which I really love. I love the neighborhood and I love the new place, and I can't wait to show some of you around when we are able to travel again and some of you are able to come visit from back home in the States. So with that, I'd like to thank you all for watching my little video. I hope you all are staying safe and staying healthy, and I look forward to seeing you all soon. Love you all. Peace.